Hi there, thanks for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Catherine from Canada. I live in a little town on the north shore of Lake Ontario, just east in my direction of Toronto, and I make journals out of old books. I usually just chat while I work, so I turn on my camera, and if you happen to learn something while I'm working, that's awesome. Feel free to ask questions down below if you have any, or otherwise also feel free just to say hi down below. And I have few enough subscribers that I'm usually able to say hi right back. But if you feel like subscribing, please do. That'd be lovely. So I'm playing with Sybil's Sacrifice here. We gutted her the last time we were together. And I've been working on signatures for her. I have a puppy nosing around in here. And I also have a sick husband coughing and hacking down the hall in the bedroom. So if you hear either things, that's what that is. So Sybil's Sacrifice is probably, I'd have to check through all my records, I think it's the second oldest book I've ever worked on. I think it's 1879. I think Marmaduke, which was a Christmas journal I did just this past December, is the oldest. 1857? I should remember. It hasn't been that long, but I'm thinking 1857. So I think Sybil is second oldest. So I've been looking over her papers, which are in really sad shape. But considering her age, they look fabulous. And, you know, I should look so good when I'm a century and a half old. So, making plans for what I want to do. I think I want to be able to leave the little dedication intact. Because I especially like what's on the back, where I think that's her. I think her teacher wrote her name wrong, spelled her name wrong. Because I have found in my research, I love doing family trees, and I have found an Esther Pettipiece here in my area, in this era. So I do have a feeling, and I have even been looking for John Ludlow in case they might have been in the same sort of neighborhood. You can sort of tell in the censuses sometimes, you know, if they're in a similar town area. But her teacher, it could have been her school teacher, it could have been her Sunday school teacher. Usually books were given away by Sunday school teachers. But we don't know. It just says by her teacher. But I have a feeling Mr. Ludlow spelled her name wrong. Anyhow, so I've been playing around with the cover and reinforcing it and making plans for the signatures. I want to keep the signatures very simple because it's just going to be a tiny little dainty book. So I do want lace. I'll be using flat lace. I've reinforced the cover. That fabric might look strange. It's because it's inside out. It actually looks like this. But I have, my desk is squeaking. I think that's too close. That's better. Okay, I have a set of drawers beside my desk, and it must have got mushed up against the desk. Okay, you didn't need to know that, TMI. Anyhow, I glued the reinforced piece of cotton, and I purposefully wanted something pretty and something that complemented this beautiful little picture, which I believe this fabric does. Thank you, Nancy. Because the way the hinges were starting to wear out, there's holes in them. You can tell when I held it, previously when I held it up to the window, you could see through them, but they weren't falling apart yet. I've had younger books in worse condition. So she was doing good, hanging in there, and I wanted to be able to keep the original spine. And I decided to go with some faux signature threads as well for this one. I'm going to be doing faux signature threads on New Worlds to Conquer. And I thought, why not do them on little Sybil as well? And I did seal her just with some Mod Podge. And so first liquid Mod Podge and then spray Mod Podge, because liquid Mod Podge, if you live in a humid area, it will stay feeling a little tacky. There'll almost be a little grip to it. So it still needs to be sealed even after you've used liquid Mod Podge. Anyhow, I just played with some decorative floss for the spine, and I put them where the threads would be when I do sew it in, because I do a 6-hole running stitch when I sew in my signatures. So, and that's ready to go. So those are good to go. I want her loosey-goosey and floppy, so I really didn't go to town. Sometimes I'll put a new curved spine liner into books. She's so tiny. I want to be gentle and easy with her and respect her. Now I came into some beautiful straw paper recently. Thank you very much to the gifter. And the color is just so perfect for this book. That gold is so perfect. I toyed with the idea of just filling the whole book with this paper, but I couldn't do it because, first of all, I want to be able to use some of Sybil's pages. Not too many. They're not the paper's very mushy. But I do want to find a way to incorporate some. But for the front page, for the first signature, I want to use this picture of Sybil, and I want to make a Dutch door, and I haven't done that in a while. So we're going to work on that today. So, and I learned how to do Dutch doors from my friends who do the real fancy bullet journals. I think I have someone who needs to powder her nose out in the backyard. So I'm going to pause, go do that. I'll be right back. Again, I'm not sure why you needed to know that, but I talk as if you're sitting here at my table with me. It's company. I'll be right back. Well, it was so nice outside that tiny little break turned into a walk. We went and we got the mail. The park was empty because the children were all inside. It wasn't recess. Where were we? We are going to make a Dutch door. That's right. So the way a Dutch door works, if you're new to it, is It's like half of a page that lays on top of another nice page. So what I want to do for the first signature is, of course, I want to use that wonderful page. Sorry for my arm taking up the entire screen. This wonderful page that says 1879. And I may have to, there's nothing on the back of any importance. And I may fully glue it down to something just to keep it safe. But the way it works is the page underneath sort of peeks through. I'm just going to sort of roll this so that you can see that there's a cool page over top or underneath for when you turn the page. So this is going to be the door. I might make a bigger one. We'll see. First, I need to strengthen her because she's elderly, and I want the back to be the same color, and I have this leftover paper here. So this is one of those situations where if cutting up old papers makes you cringe, either look away or find a crochet channel, because I'm going to be cutting. Oh, my scissors are across the room. I want my big ones. There's no point. There we go. And I may make this a little bit smaller. I'm even toying with the idea of cutting it in a circle because I like the look of circles better. But I'll do square first because if square is nice, square it is. And I can always change my mind and do a circle, but I can't do a circle and then go, oh no, I wanted a square. Too late. Round holes, square pegs, you know. No, that's not accurate. Let's mash that out. I spent the morning packing up Miss Roundabout to get her on her way, but I thought of something cool for wrapping her up, and so she's taking a little longer than I thought, but that's okay. It's worth it. Inspiration is worth it. Hope you're all doing well. Hubby had a good snooze and he needs it, but I told him if I don't see any improvement tomorrow, he is off to see the doctor, which he hates. But I just have to use my mother voice. I'm good at that. Lots of experience using my mother voice. So there we go. I'm afraid to do the circle simply because sometimes it tears instead of punches clean when it's older paper. It's a new punch. My older punch, because some of you would say, oh, Catherine, just punch through foil, or there's a whole lot of theories behind what to do about about punches that aren't punching clean anymore. But this one is, here's some more of that straw paper. I have 8.5 by 11s that two wonderful people gave me some little bundles of Camille and Alice. And I'm saving those ones. They're a slightly different shade. These big ones I found at one of my thrift stores. So I have an idea. I want it 3 because I want the page that becomes the Dutch door to be a little bit fortified and strong. So I'm going to glue it doubled. That's going to be tricky, but we can do it. Yes, we can. Such a nice sunny day. Oh, gosh. All right, where are my pencil marks? There's my pencil marks. That'll get saved. This paper is so gorgeous. Oh, excellent. All right. That will get used. In a second, what I'm doing will make sense to you. Now, I don't know how old this is, so I'm going to be very gentle. I just want a little bit of help for where I need to fold these. Come on. There we go. I'll leave this out in case I need to trim. All right, so let's see if that's, no, that's going to be good. I don't need to. Let's just make sure it's the right size. So before I start, I want to be able to get all this done so that it can go into my paper press tonight. So this is going to get glued down, but it's going to still be cut up. Wait. I've got to stop being so vigorous. With my glue, there's no need to be that vigorous. for my subscribers from Ontario. We had sad news. Our previous Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, Dave Onley, passed away this weekend. But to my family, the country, the province, the world knew him as David Onley. Actually, I think the Right Honorable David C. Onley. We knew him as Dave. I grew up with Dave. He was one of my brother's best friends. So we were very sad to hear of his passing. I have many happy memories of Dave. Dave was at my first wedding. He went as my brother's date, because my brother didn't have a date at the time. So he brought Dave along with him. Really nice guy. Very sad to hear of him passing. And it was sudden because my brother saw him as recently as December. They got together in December. They live far away from each other, so they got together in December, and he was fine. So he hasn't heard yet. The family is saying a brief illness, so. But of course, any kind of illness when you are a survivor of polio is immediately complicated. But Dave was a really nice guy. I grew up. I always knew he was in the house if I got home afterwards by two things. To get downstairs to our rec room, our house had a stairway that had stairs down, a landing, stairs down. And on the landing, Dave would put his either his cane or his crutches, depending on what he needed that day. Would be leaning in the corner. He would just leave it on the landing and make his way down to the rec room just on his own, because he had braces on his legs. And so I knew that was one way. And another way I knew was for a while he thought it would be cool to smoke a pipe. It smelled awful. I'd walk in the door and, oh boy, Dave's here. He's smoking his pipe. Now I wonder if I put it up higher, then I could use, I know that there is a page that says Sybil Sacrifice. Oh, but this is going to be shorter. It won't have the room. Trying to decide if I want it in the center or if I want it up higher. Let's see. Let's see where, if it lands. If I go up higher and then I cut it back to here, you'll see 1879. Because if I go lower, you might see Sacrifice, but you won't know it's Sybil who's doing the sacrificing. I hope that wasn't completely out of the camera. I think I'm going to go up higher. I think I'm going to glue it down here, around here. And then we will cut it into a Dutch door. All right. Oh, hold on. You know what we need. This is a dark picture. I want walnut. So I'm very sad for Dave's family, his children, and his wife, Ruth Ann. And for my brother to lose a friend. And our province. Here's how sweet Dave was. He had to do something in his official capacity when he was lieutenant governor. And something official in the town where my mom and dad lived. Up here in Ontario when they retired. They retired out to Cobourg, which is a beautiful little town on Lake Ontario. And Dave had to do something in his official capacity there, and it was a big deal. There was, an entourage pulled up, and my parents actually didn't know what was going on. This entourage pulls up, and they're, my mom and dad were always nosy about what was going on. And I wonder what's going on. And everyone's all excited, and then they're hearing through the crowd, "Oh, it's the lieutenant governor." And, they knew that that's Dave. So they were hoping maybe to see a glimpse of him. And he gets out of the car. And think about it. He hadn't seen them in probably decades. And he was waving and saying hello to the crowd. He spotted them and recognized them and said, "Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Brown." Because, of course, when he knew them, he was a high school kid. So they were Mr. and Mrs. Brown. I always thought that shows you what kind of a nice guy he was. And to notice little details like that, to spot them out of the blue in a crowd like that, and to take a moment to say hi to them. That really meant a lot to them. And of course, when you're a senior and you've got something like that to brag about, that the lieutenant governor said hello to you today. Them's big bragging rights to the seniors group, to the lawn bowling team. All right, so Sybil is going to go up here. All right, glue. Let's put that over. Glue, glue, glue. Don't be so vigorous, Catherine. There we go. And in this case, I want... Oh, come on. Oh, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Oh, that's not... It's because you're my old bottle. I needed my one with my Nancy. There we go. There. I'm just going to eyeball this. Let's get the glue off my fingers. Eyeball this. But I want it up a bit high. Not going to worry about that. There's some glue sticking out there, but it will dry clear. Plus, it's an 1879 book, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm actually glad to get this done before it goes in the paper press. That would do it some good. Alright, so that's looking good. Which reminds me, I'll get this adhered to some other paper ahead of time. Before it goes in the paper press too. Okay. Alright, so now pencil, ruler. Now how far over? I want 1 3/4. I don't know why I'm using this ruler. For me, I don't like the polka dots. But that will do, but I'm going to grab my other ruler instead and use the other side of this. Alright, so I'm going to find my little marks I've given myself and go down. It's okay if the pencil's there because I can erase it later. Alright, are you starting to get an idea for what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to use my glass panel for this. And a metal ruler. So I did have someone in my comments the other day notice that I used this glass panel when I had to cut out that tiny little hole in a fussy cut that I had done. And there are times when you'll cut better on a sheet of glass than you will on a mat, because the mat, think about it, your knife sinks into a mat and it can grab. And glass, you can, especially with fussy cuts, you can move your knife around on a glass. This is just a sheet of glass that was out of a picture frame that I most likely got at a thrift store, but you can get, you'll have to feel and make sure it's glass, because often they're plastic at the thrift store. But check and see, because I have seen glass at thrift stores. You want glass. So, and as ever, make sure your knife is nice and sharp. And if you're going to give yourself a new edge, break it away from you. Don't break it towards you, because if a shard of metal also comes off, which it can, you don't know where it's going to go. So there's your safety tip of the day from Catherine. Break your box cutters, fresh blade, away from you, not towards you. This is my little sharps. Everyone does what they can. Okay, so now let's get her cut out of here. Of course, now I'm thinking, I wonder if I had wanted to put a border around her or just the picture. No, just the picture. Now I'll probably still have to ink. Hope I'm in the frame here. Probably still have to ink again. I'm going to go at it this way. Nope. I'm going to start it a little bit. There we go. Where are we here? You're probably wondering, Catherine, what are you doing? I'm just being me, and my brain needs to work that way. So there we go. Close it up, put it away. And a little bit of ink. There we go. So now I'll show you what that does. So put you over here. So front page, Dutch door, lays on top. So that will be the opening. So when the book gets opened, there she'll be, and we will see 1879. But then when you open it, you'll see the full title page, and there'll be room for doing whatever the new owner wishes to do over here. Oh, I do have the end papers chosen. I'll show you the end papers before I sign off, because this has probably gone on way too long. I'm going to use the end papers that I thought I was going to put into the roundabout papers. So I'm going to use, I had to do a little playing around. Oh, how nice is that? Very excited about that. Okay, and then the back, I had to do a bit of playing around because the pages didn't quite fit the way I like. So I've already torn that corner to accommodate the torn corner here. And I wanted a red rose. Where is it? I've already lost it. There it is. Is that it? Yes. So what I'm going to do is make a tuck spot. So this actually tucks. So it's going to, I had to do sort of a little playing around with the sheet in order to make it fit. Plus I wanted to still make use of that beautiful red rose. And I have one more red rose that I think I'm going to fussy cut. Oh, it's on the side that I used this to show you that I have one more red rose. No, actually, I think it's a poppy. And I think I'm going to fussy cut it and put it up there so that it all... So excited. Every time, it happens every time. I start working on a journal and I think, oh, this is it. This is the one I'm in love with. And then I start working on a new one and I think, oh, this is it. This is the one I'm in love with. And I fall in love all over. No, that's not it. It's not it. Where'd it go? There you are. Back. And that is... No. That's north. I'm going to write back tuck so I know. There. Okay, good. All right, I know I've probably gone over time, and I apologize. But we got a lot done today. So that makes up for me being missing for a few days. We got a little Dutch door done with Sybil on the cover. And now I'm going to finish the signatures and get them in the paper press overnight because I'm starting to lose daylight. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And we'll get together in a couple of days. I will try my best to actually do the faux signature threads for New Worlds to Conquer on camera. I went ahead and did those off camera, and so I'll try and do the ones. I have something different in mind for New Worlds, and I'll try and do those on camera. All right, bye. Take care. We'll talk soon.